file President Donald Trump on Monday, June 1, 2020, at St. returning to the White House after visiting the outside of St. John's Church, more than a year before the 2024 election. Group of conservative organizations is preparing for possible second White House term for Donald Trump and is calling thousands of Americans to Washington on mission to dissolve the federal government and replace it with new one. A vision closer to itself. Washington. More than a year before 2024 election. A group conservative organizations prepares possible second White House term for Donald Trump and is calling on thousands of Americans to Washington. The task overthrowing federal government. It should form a government and replace it with a vision closer to itself. This far-reaching effort, led by well-established think tank of Heritage Foundation and backed by former Trump administration officials, is essentially a government awaiting a second term of former president, or any candidate that aligns with their ideals and can beat President Joe Biden in 2024. With nearly 1,000-page Project 2025 handbook and an army of Americans. The goal is to get civilian infrastructure ready on day one to seize, reshape, and dismantle what Republicans deride as deep state bureaucracy, partly by laying off as many as 50,000 federal workers. We need to fill area with conservatives, said Paul Dans, director of the 2025 Presidential Transition Project and a former Trump administration official who spoke with historic pomp about initiative. This is an open call to come to Washington, he said. People need to drop their tools and step away from their professional lives and say, "This is my lifetime service moment." The unprecedented effort is led by dozens right-wing organizations, many of them new to Washington, and represents the shifting approach conservatives who have traditionally sought to restrain the government by cutting federal taxes and cutting spending. Instead, Trump-era conservatives seek to drain administrative state from within, by firing federal employees they believe stand in way of president's agenda and replacing them with like-minded officials more willing to take on management approach of a new executive. The goal is to avoid the pitfalls of Trump's first years in office, where the Republican president's team was poorly prepared. Cabinet candidates struggled to win Senate approval, and policies were met with resistance from legislators, government officials, and even Trump's own appointees. He refused to bend or break protocol or, in some cases, violate the law to achieve his goals. While many of the Project 2025 proposals are inspired by Trump, they are echoed by GOP rivals Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy and stand out among fellow Republicans. And if Trump wins a second term, operation of legacy coalition will ensure that President has staff to handle unfinished White House affairs. The first day President will be a wrecking ball for governing state.